India's flagship program Make in India is continuing to strive through all the impediments, and the country has been acing it towards achieving a step change in the field of building manufacturing chains. The Festival of Manufacturing 2023 was yet another initiative in this direction. The mega event that was held in New Delhi aimed to showcase the world India's manufacturing prowess, where India has emerged as one of the favourite destinations for investments. Union Minister Narayan Rane, who was the chief guest at the event, spoke about Indian government's commitment towards eliminating poverty and getting India at par with the developed countries.
देश में उद्योग बढ़ाने के लिए, रोजगार बढ़ाने के लिए, देश का जीडीपी बढ़ने के लिए, एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ने के लिए और देश आत्मनिर्भर बनने के लिए आपका सहयोग का और आपके मार्गदर्शन का हमें आवश्यकता है। भारत के पंतप्रधान माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी ये चाहते हैं कि भारत आत्मनिर्भर बने, भारत महासत्ता बने। 2030 में भारत दुनिया के अर्थव्यवस्था में भारत तीसरे क्रमांक में हम लाने की कोशिश कर रहे, ये घोषणा वो कर चुके हैं। जब हमें भारत आत्मनिर्भर बनाना, अर्थव्यवस्था में दुनिया में तीसरे क्रमांक में आना है, तो विदाउट इंडस्ट्री, उद्योजक के सहयोग के सिवा पॉसिबल नहीं है। हमारी इंडस्ट्री क्षेत्र में ग्रोथ जितनी होगी उतनी परसेंटेज हमारी तरक्की होते जाएंगी। इसलिए हम उद्योग क्षेत्र को बढ़ावा देने की हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं। यही साल का 23-24 का बजट आपने देखा होगा। माइक्रो स्मॉल के लिए, मीडियम के लिए काफ़ी मदद सरकार के तरफ से, भारत सरकार के तरफ से मिली है। एमएसएमई सक्षम करने का कोशिश हमारे अर्थ मंत्री इन्होंने किया, पीएम साहब ने किया। हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि हमारे उद्यमी बड़े, माइक्रो के बड़े, स्मॉल के बड़े, और उसके लिए उसके बढ़ने से हमें रोजगार तैयार होए, देश का उत्पन्न बढ़ जाए। देश का उत्पन्न बढ़ता है तो जीडीपी भी बढ़ जाएगा, एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ जाएगा, और देश की अर्थव्यवस्था में जो सुधार होगा, जीडीपी में ग्रोथ होगी, वो हमारे लिए आवश्यक है।
Vipin Rana, CEO, ExxonMobil Lubricants Private Limited, delivered the welcome note.
As ExxonMobil, we are very proud to be the presenting partner for this event. Manufacturing, in our case, is going to be one of the key drivers of this growth. We also understand that this is going to be a very rateable growth. So much so that while we are talking about significant growth, the curves are going upwards to 2050, but also in the near term, when we look at between 2020 and 2025, there's going to be $1.4 trillion of economic value that is going to be added to the Indian economy. This is in India. We have got a large LNG business, which is the largest supplier of natural gas to India. We've got a lubricants business, which is one of the favored leading manufacturer of lubricants and supplier to the manufacturing industry. We have got a chemicals business, which is very strong in supplying raw materials to the manufacturing industry. And we have got a large technical center where we are leveraging Indian talent for solving problems for ExxonMobil globally. We are deeply committed to sustainability also. Very recently, we were one of the category first where we launched a 20-liter pack of lubricating oil that was produced using 50% post-consumer recycling. Now this is a category first, and over a period of time, we have aspirations to be able to put recyclable material, PCR, into all of our packs. So we're very committed to India. We're looking forward to working with you. We're looking forward to working with you to solve your problems, to improve your efficiency, to improve your productivity levels, and help you achieve your aspirations.
Effort of celebrating the industries of India, the Festival of Manufacturing 2023 hosted a few debates and discussions that highlighted the subjects significant for steering the manufacturing industry of the country. Let's get a glimpse of the first panel discussion that was titled Vision 2030, Samarth and Sashakta Udyog Bharat.
Let's begin our conversation. Initial opening remarks and what they really feel do they really feel that India can become a major manufacturing hub, as the theme of this session suggests, Sashakta manufacturing, Sashakta Bharat?
India has to emerge as a credible, global, large manufacturing hub. There are going to be some enablers that are going to be required. Obviously, policy is one. Investment in technology is the third one, and then investment in human resources is going to be the other one. And the fourth element that probably is more important is also the culture. I think culturally there has to be a transformation. While we talk about digital transformation a lot, but there is a cultural transformation element that sometimes is not as visibly present in the conversations.
A recent survey indicates that only 27-28% of the parents encourage their children to opt for manufacturing. And that's not very healthy situation. So manufacturing will have to compete for the talent against services or other professions. Now for manufacturing to be able to compete for the talent, manufacturing has to become competitive, manufacturing has to become safer, manufacturing has to improve quality of life of its people.
50% of the global manufacturing output lies with the two countries. So we are today 3.1%. What we need as a country as a whole is not an incremental growth. We have been anyway growing in incremental growth. We need a huge step up, huge leapfrog to reach the ambition what we want to be done. And that ambition can only happen if we are looking at end-to-end manufacturing, innovation-led manufacturing, technology-led manufacturing, not only for the major, large organization, but also the whole value chain, like a small, medium enterprises. Everyone is looking forward to, upskill there and then looking at a more productivity improvement basis. That is how, we really need to do that.
Now, if we are going to be demographically the largest number of people, I don't believe that there's anything other that can happen if we don't get into this. I think there's going to be social chaos, and that's something that we don't want. Yes, we are here, we are all from manufacturing, but if we really look at it, there's great diversity. Let's not even talk about state, language, culture. Let's take manufacturing right here. Pharmaceuticals is something extremely different. Machines, trucks, cars, motorcycles is completely different. What is anathema in one manufacturing industry is the way of life in the other kind of manufacturing. Can we be Samarth and Sashakt? I don't see any reason why we can't. Do we have a choice not to become? I don't believe we have a choice to do anything else.
The leaders of this country are sitting right there in the back. All of these young people that are out there, they are the ones that are going to lead this country. And let me clearly say one more thing. We've got Nari Shakti, right? This is something that needs to be really, really, really given a chance. Do we have the capabilities? Yes. Do we have the people? Yes. I don't want Sundar Pichais. I don't want Satya Nadellas to be going to America. We want them to be here. The men and women of this country have a chance. I spent 35 years abroad, and now, I think, you couldn't just keep me out of this country. There are a lot of problems. Manufacturing is an opportunity. We've got to make sure. See, you talked about Deutschland. I spent a lot of time in Switzerland, Germany, and I was going to say, not everybody needs to have a master's or an undergraduate. Let's have a technical program. Let's have people learn, whether it's in the, I was in the oil business, before I became an environmentalist. I mean, we got to use engineers, young men and women of this country. We need to have technical programs, internship programs. We've got to develop.
But today people are talking of India as performing. And the spotlight on India is not just because of the economic performance which we have done over the last few years. The spotlight on India is because of the resilience which we as people of 1.4 billion people have shown over the last 3 to 4 years. So I think that's hats off to all of you and the nation as such. And what's happened in this is there's been a infrastructure creation. There have been so many reforms which have happened alongside. And the one thing common around all of these things which happened was the digital piece. We used a lot of digital for governance and for delivery. And I think that's made a huge difference.
Sudhanshu Mani, the mind behind Vande Bharat Express, the trains that are catching the fancy of the nation, was also present during the Festival of Manufacturing 2023. He spoke on the imminent need of adopting innovation as the key to create India's own technology in the sphere of manufacturing.
I do begin with these wonderful words of the people's president, APJ Abdul Kalam, that a dream is not the thing that you see in sleep, but is that thing that does not let you sleep. Technology, ladies and gentlemen, is a creation which lives not only in the mind, but also the heart of the creator. There's no way to transfer that. Even as a child, a teenager, and then a railwayman, all my life, there was this angst as to why a train of Indian Railways looks exactly the same. Some technology has come, more AC coaches, color has changed from red to blue, but the recall remains exactly what you see on the left of your screen. Why not a modern, speedier, aesthetically superior, a modern train with such a large pool of engineers and such a large network of railways? Was the angst as well as, you can call it a dream, buried in my mind? And that was the seed of the story. I landed in Integral Coach Factory in 2016. And true to what I said about human resources, began with breaking the protocol and hierarchy. But before that, a bit about the factory set up in 1950s as a manufacturer of current technology coaches, as a dream of Jawaharlal Nehru. So much so that it kept on expanding, kept on doing more of the same, has a world record of having made the largest number of coaches in the world from one factory. The thing, in the words of Prime Minister himself, is because it was just a train. Try to understand it from what the Prime Minister says from the ramparts of Red Fort every 15th August, mind you, every 15th August, is that this Vande Bharat Express, as it was named when it was put in this service, is a symbol of a resurgent and aspirational India. Not manufacturing alone, in all the sectors, as long as the product is also ours, as long as the IPR is ours, as long as the project is something on which we have ownership. 1,000, 1,000,000 such projects are possible in this country. All it needs is leadership with passion, empathy, and a sense of purpose. Thank you very much.
Next in line was a panel discussion that focused on why skill development is crucial to new edge manufacturing. Here are a few excerpts.
Fantastic, lovely panel. We are all waiting for that. One question which I had in my mind and which I like to put to any two of you who can choose to answer is, how are the new age technologies been adapted in the manufacturing sector, and what are the skill requirements to cope with the technology trends in the sector?
So if I may list out, I have 6. One is certainly, I think, there's a 4th industrial revolution, what we talk about Industry 4.0. I think that requires a lot of skill upgradation in terms of adoption in this. Second is, I think, over a period of time, there's an increased demand for quality, increased demand for efficiency, and also we need to learn with all the challenges what we face in the supply chain. How do we become much more agile, efficient, and also in our ability to handle this crisis much better than what used to be?
Our workforce today, they need to be upskilled or reskilled, or some of them may have to find new avenues. And these are the areas we believe will be working. It's not only IT, it's the people who are operating on these machines. They also have to be reskilled. While I speak, we are deploying some of these, and it is a lot difficult than what we read in the books. The training of the people to change their behavior and work on the new set of things will require a lot of push and a lot of training. With this, over to you, sir.
The new generation which has been coming has been educated in various colleges, but the demand of the industrial skill has been changing and, have been upgrading over a period of time. So it becomes onus not only on the institution, but also on the industries to own those institutes in terms of developing the skill crunch which has been required in building those syllabus for them, so that those kind of education could be served to the new upcoming generation, and they should be coming out not only as educated but also as with a skill in hand to work for the organizations in the sector.
I work with the Automotive Skill Development Council, and we do have industry participation, and regularly we do qualifications where this is what then they offer to the training partners. But what I see completely missing is, now gone are the days when you have a very fixed curriculum. The need of the industry is changing so fast that if we look at from the global scale, let's say how the German system works with dual education system and how apprenticeship seen in our country. You rightly said that it is not about degree but a skill when you ask your wife. I think how many of us in society are looking at that way? I think we are highly obsessed with degree and designation. So our country, the designation moves with these kind of understanding, less on the skill.
Pharma has already adopted many of these new age technologies like your digitalization, as well as in many places robotics are also in place, as well as we are contemplating with ideas of bringing AI in our manufacturing. Very shortly we will bring AI also in our manufacturing. So these things are absolutely driven by skill. You can't drive this without skill.
So increasing the skill level also means giving them the ownership of the entire process. I do not know how many of you are here from the auto sector, but there are processes in almost every company about giving the first failure report, which we call FFR. There are so many processes. So what happens? The feedback goes from the market, and the team down at the line, they have the ownership of what they do. And that's how their entire skilling or reskilling is being done.
The Festival of Manufacturing 2023 aimed at motivating India's industries, associated companies and educational institutes for witnessing the new age of manufacturing and engineering. As part of the initiative, a group of the manufacturing leaders and startups were recognized for their excellent works. We bring you glimpses of a few winners of the Champions of Manufacturing Award. A group of experts came together and brainstormed on decarbonization of India's manufacturing sector, policy to achieve clean energy targets.
This message which our Prime Minister has given, that we have to lead the world to tell them how you live with the nature, with the sustainability and life. How do you all decode this message into your respective sectors? So that we'll start with you.
Well, today already we are at a point with solar solutions, which is solar panels, inverters, and storage, that you can actually create your own electricity at 3 to 4 rupees a unit. Now, for rural homes, which are in fact perhaps away from grid electricity, in off-grid sense, this is a real viable alternative. And it is not powered by fossil fuels, essentially. The other thing it does is, for the country at large, it reduces the fossil fuel dependence.
This bicycle industry, we started with, during this COVID times, Pedalex is basically electric assisted bicycles. And most of the developed countries across Europe, they started to, get into the electric bicycles. And
India has submitted its INDC, Intended Nationally Determined Contribution, in 2015, which was quite comprehensive. And it was further strengthened last year in Glasgow, where our Honorable Prime Minister came out with Panchamrit, which was talking about net zero by 2070 and many other things, 500 gigawatt of renewable energy deployment, or 50% of energy is coming from non-fossil fuel sources. So I think these are very encouraging kind of targets or ambitions, and it has actually given us a lot of thoughts to align in that direction.
I would say first thing is energy is costly in India because we import almost all our oil and gas requirement, and that is helping us to energy transition better when to renewables. So the fact that reduce, reuse and recycle is absolutely mastered by Indian industry. Therefore, today we have the most efficient oil refining asset in India, most efficient, and by far efficiency gap is more than 20% any world. So reduce, reuse of energy.
The last panel discussion held during the day elaborated on the topic, how industries can enable sustainable manufacturing in India.
So what is your take on it?
And the first and foremost, when you set up what you want to do or how you want to improve the technology, or can be a blue ocean kind of getting into blue ocean and bringing all the others over there. And first and foremost, which most of the companies are missing, is measurement. Where you are today, are you measuring your products? How much carbon footprint it is creating? It's not just the product when you're manufacturing, but starting from the raw material, from the steel, from where you are procuring, your logistics, your packing. I think how you pack your goods, how lighter it might be, how great engineered it is. But if you're not packing it right, if your logistics is not right, it's not sustainable.
Design, product process validation, taking it all the way into manufacturing and into the supplier ecosystem, and then including the supplier ecosystem. You have to first measure, and then based on where the 80-20 is, where are we actually not sustainable, that's where we have to focus and attack. That's the kind of approach we're taking.
ExxonMobil has been doing a very fine balancing act of providing energy to the world, at the same time doing it in a responsible way. Now this awareness is not even widely known within the organization as to how we are. So we are doing a lot of educational programs, letting people know. For example, I don't know how many of you are aware that we have been the pioneers in manufacturing synthetic products. Way back 50 years, a product like Mobil 1, Mobil SHCs, you have a lot of product. Mobil 1, many people would know because you are watching Formula 1 races and all. But the reality is when you are using synthetic products, basically the idea is that, or the theme that we are working on is doing more with less.
Alarm goes off. A light comes on. A whistle blows. Every morning across the globe, communities go to work. And you make it possible. You move mountains. You harness wind. You make the things that make the day. From electricity to steel. From paper towels to water bottles. If your community needs it, you're working hard to get it to them. And MobileServe is here to help you get the job done, so you can go the extra mile and make smarter decisions for your business and your customers. We're here for you, so you can always be there for your community, every day. MobileServe. We stand with those who make the world work.